This is Phil Stamper, the president of wrestling, and you're watching the 3 Count Podcast. And always remember to trust in Phil.
Now entering the
Welcome everybody to another great edition of the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering the Ring. I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, and it's the one that leads you on all your expeditions, and it's not about me, because this is Now Entering the Ring, which means one thing: we have a special guest for you, and you can find this man at H2O, ACW, CZW, GCW. You can find this man on War, BCW, PWE, and ECWA. He is one half of Blackout. Bring him in. You know the man. You see the glasses. It's Robbie Illuminati.
What's up, Red Dog?
What's up, brother?
Good to be back, surfaced, back on planet Earth. So glad I have returned. I'm back in my full form. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while, man. I'll be honest. I had no idea your first name was Clifford. So the big Red Dog.
Yep, there it goes. The secret's out now. Everybody knows why my name's Red Dog.
Was it the island they lived on?
What's that?
Where did they live? They lived on an island. They had to move to an island just to accommodate Clifford.
Right. Yeah.
The island. I have the song in my head because I'm a loving father and everything, and I remember the Clifford song.
It's funny too, man, because that TV show was actually
Birdwall Island.
Yeah. That
Birdwall Island. Yeah.
That cartoon actually was voiced by John Ritter. And John at the time was one of my favorite voice actors, and he passed away from a heart attack, but I was like, damn.
I did a moment of silence for him at CZW when I was the ring announcer at CZW. I did a moment of silence because John Ritter died on not the first anniversary or the second anniversary of 9/11, and I was the ring announcer at CZW, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, I said, I just think it's really important that we take a moment to recognize. I think whatever everybody thinks we live in, John Ritter, aka Jack Tripper, passed away this past week. So, and I made him do a moment of silence for John Ritter. God rest his soul.
God rest his soul, man. That dude, he was so good, and he was in all those awesome TV shows too. What was that 10 Rules of Dating My Daughter on ABC?
Three's Company, you gotta understand, dude. This guy, Three's Company, he had a rotation. He had a rotation of female roommates. That man was living a dream. He was paying 33 1/3% of the rent. 66 2/3% of that rent was being paid by fine bitches. That Chipper had it paid. Meanwhile, Larry's going to the Regal Beagle, coming out his pocket and everything. John Ritter's just they're already here. The girls are at home. Yeah. He just had to do a Curly Roper every once in a while. That's it,
I know. One started fessing up because she got popular with, her thigh master, and then they moved her out and they moved someone else in.
Yes. The very first workout I ever did is my mom ordered a thigh master. I never used it. And I took it and was doing biceps with it when I was 12. And I've been doing it every day, and now look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me.
I just remember we were at ACW in February, right? And it was that outdoor show with outside of the
Power plant.
Yeah. And I just remember somebody in the crowd yelling at you, and they were like, dude, you suck. And you're like, do you have abs like these? No, because your mom likes them. And I was like, that's the best.
His mother loves my abs, that dude that said that I suck. I'm sure.
I was dying. I was just all the stuff that was happening that night. I was I genuinely was just I don't know. I was a big kid, just laughing my ass off.
I'm like a big kid when I'm in the ring, bro. I fucking have some confidence. I feel good. I'm I'm fucking Fred Astaire out there. The world's tough part, I think anybody that does this podcast will tell you that,
Yeah.
Actually, out there, it's fun. You're invincible. It's a consequence-free environment. I that carry personal life sometimes, but it's a consequence-free environment out there. Just do whatever the fuck you want all the time.
It's very true. It's very true. You can say things to people that normally you wouldn't say if you were outside the ring, like you would normally not say those, but because of like what happens like in the ring, you're just like, bro, you can't, you don't want to get in this ring. You ain't trying to touch me, and you know what's gonna happen when you do.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is.
It's,
I genuinely love the wrestling environment. Like when we get in there and we just kind of like just bullshit with people. It's just it's there's nothing better to me than it.
I think, for me, when I was a kid, I'll break it down. I haven't like wrote my book yet, and what if I like slip on a banana peel and like die or something? I don't get to write my book. I might as well tell somebody, So like, I went to a school for gifted kids. My mom had my IQ tested real young, and it was high. It was pretty high. So I got to go to a special school, and I went to a place in Philly called Settlement Music School, and I could play Beethoven when I was 5, 6 years old and stuff. But I used to draw pictures of myself with abs and sunglasses, and before I lost my hair, spiky hair like I used to have. And I don't know. There was something about being larger than life, and there was something about. And granted, I'm not larger than life, It's a COVID. I haven't wrestled since November, But even just sharing these experiences with you just now, even just at the beginning of this interview, my mood has already changed. I already feel the energy, the good, positive energy that comes from being an entertainer and being able to have an outlet to be creative and express yourself and express your frustrations. If you're a heel, I love being a heel because there's a lot of things that aggravate me, and there's a lot of things I think about during the week I like to say to people that I don't, but when I'm out at the ring, I remember all those things I thought during the week that were witty and funny and really horrible, and I just say them. Or just sometimes I'm out at the ring and really horrible stuff just comes to me out of nowhere. I remember there was a kid in the crowd like 5, 6 years ago who looked like Daniel Bryan, but he was really, really skinny, and he was in the crowd with his mom, and I got on the mic and I said, dude, you look like Daniel Bryan if he was on crack, and he had a horrible mother for a mother, And it's like Daniel Bryan on crack is one thing, but adding in, and if he had a horrible mother for a mother, it's covering two bases. You assume that Daniel Bryan probably has a great mom because he turned out to be a great guy. Right. And you look at this piece of shit sitting next to her in the crowd, having the audacity to yell at me, and you're like, oh, you must have been not brought up correctly. So it covers bases, and you want, if you're a heel especially, you want to be, I'm an asshole, but I'm an endearing asshole.
I think about it like, God, he's such a dick, but there's something nice about him that I just can't stop staring at.
Well, he's a very nice person. I appreciate you saying it. I do. I can say I'm too nice. I'll be honest with you. It's because I am probably so overly nice and so meticulously polite in my day-to-day. Like I'm holding my cross, as I say to you, with my Pablo Escobar hoodie on. I'm a Gemini. If you're into that cosmic shit, dude, I'm definitely been living a double life. I could talk about it now. I remember at one point I was hosting CZW Fake UTV on TV every week. I was student body president at my college, and I was running an after-hours club in South Philly, which I don't have to say anything more. I was running an after-hours club in South Philadelphia at the same time. Yeah, man. And that's where I say sometimes you got to be careful because you can. I think I'm just Robbie Illuminati now. I don't think there's a Rob Zaccardi left anywhere in here.
Dude, that line was like blurred, and now it's just you don't know where it starts and where it stops.
You got to be a lion to protect the lamb. You really are sometimes, but then sometimes the lion calls a bunch of other fucking lions in there, and it's like the lamb's like, all right, fuck it, I'm just gone. Yeah, these guys are having fun without me.
It's too funny. But getting into the Gemini.
You'll be a better wrestler though somehow if you listen to all this. Yeah. Everybody, except for me. My advice doesn't work for me. It only works for other people. Trust me. If you see me work, I got good abs and I'm good on the mic. That's what I say. People say, "What moves do you do?" Say, I walk pretty cool on the way to the ring, and I talk a lot of shit. They're like, yeah, what moves do you do? I pin a guy or get pinned. I don't fucking.
Oh man, I love it.
Buy the game, dude. Buy the video game. I don't know. Lose with the Robbie doll. The Robbie now walks and talks and punches and kicks.
Speaking of Robbie Illuminati, let me know, like, who is Robbie Illuminati? Because we've been talking about like all the things that you do, but I'm just curious, like, how did you come up with the character and how, and your what's with you?
I think I really like. I don't know. I don't know, and I think that's probably because I'm him. I think that I tried really, really hard to like. I've been changing my name back from Robbie Illuminati for a while. It was like Rob Zaccardi because I felt like it was sacrilegious and everything. Although whoever the real Illuminati is, they don't call themselves Illuminati. So really, it's just. I mean, it's a cool sounding name. It sounds like a rapper. I think that's cool. Like people hear it, like, oh shit, that's a cool name, It's polarizing as far as the name goes. I assume if you just see the name on a paper or on like the internet or something, you're like, oh, that's a cool sounding name. I wonder who that guy is. You know what I mean? Or they picture some douchebag with like, the pyramids, coming out with the eye horse and all that other stuff. Like, we are the secret society, where it's nothing like that. But really, it was just a natural. Actually, where it first came from was Extreme Rising. I was supposed to be Little Guido's new tag team partner in the FBI. And I wanted to just have a cool sounding name. So I was like, Robbie Illuminati. And it never happened. And I'm just like, it'll work with Blackout, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And people like it. I like it. My son likes it, But the character, it's a lot of things. It's Johnny Cage. It's Tony Montana. Probably more Tony Montana. Probably look like Johnny Cage, act like Tony Montana. My nose actually itches. I'm not implying like Kenny Powers like hurt my nose or anything like that.
Yeah, no. We totally understand. We totally get it.
Or Seinfeld, it's a scratch, not a pick. Funny, there's this girl today that was scratching her nose, and I was about to say that to her, but I realized she hates my guts, so I didn't say nothing. I just kept moving. At the gym.
I'm curious, man. Like, how did you get into the business?
So, I became a fan because I was grounded, and my dad was allowed to watch an hour of TV, and he turned on the TV, and Fox 29 in Philly was on, and Macho Man was on the screen. And he was the world champion. And all I knew was I had a Hulk Hogan doll that somebody had bought me, and he had a belt. So I had to find out how Macho Man was the champion. And that got me hooked. And, I started not too long after that. So that was right after WrestleMania 4. My uncle was Angelo Dundee, Muhammad Ali's trainer. So we got comp tickets to go to WrestleMania 5 at the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, where I met motherfucking Donald Trump, baby. First show in the business. I mean, bro, that's a precedent, though. That's what I tell my son about. That's natural selection type shit. I got comped into the show by my uncle, who was Muhammad Ali's trainer, and met fucking Donald Trump. A guy that went on, whatever you think about him, he still went on to become president.
Yeah.
It's a weird first show to say that's your first show in the wrestling business, WrestleMania 5.
No, that's very true. Very true.
I spotted myself in the crowd actually recently too. WrestleMania did a YouTube video like the last days of Rick Rude, and they show Rick walking out to the ring in slow motion at like WrestleMania 5. And it looks like my son. It's so crazy, dude. I don't know if you have kids or not, but it literally looks like a spitting image of me. It's my son, but it's me, but it looks like a spitting image of my son hanging over the guardrail for Rick Rude. And I loved Rick. If you can't tell, that's another big part of my gimmick, bro. I love Rick Rude, man.
Yeah, I can definitely tell.
That's what I was going to say. I was a WWF fan, and then I saw Ric Flair, and then I knew that's what I'm going to do, because I wanted to be a boxer when I was a kid, even though I went to a school for smart kids. And here's the thing. My uncle was the millionaire in the family, and he was a boxing trainer. He wasn't even a boxer. He was Muhammad Ali's trainer. So fuck, if I could become an actual boxer, I mean, it was great to have good grades and everything. My dad worked for NASA. He would say shit like, we're not Nicky Scarfo Italians, we're Da Vinci Italians. Because my dad's a black belt. He could play guitar better. I mean, he played in a million bands in South Philly. I mean, he had 8x10s and shit, just like, we do now, the workers, playing in the bands and shit. He, black belt, worked for NASA, true Renaissance guy. So he was very like, unfortunately for him, when he was coming up in the world of like science and shit, like the literal rocket scientist, having the Valdan new last name, that's right. Same thing. I'll be honest. I used to say this to some people in my family who would make comments, and I would say to them, like, the way that you talk about, let's say, black people, that's the way other white people talk about Italians. And that's just a slippery slope.
Right.
That's how very, very non-racist in our family, especially with, my uncle being Muhammad Ali's trainer and stuff. So my dad, unfortunately, though, he still won't even, how I got Tony Soprano here, he hates that. My dad still won't watch The Sopranos because he feels like, as being a guy that was, working in the world of, like I said, working for a defense contractor for NASA, he dealt with a lot of Zaccardi, Boopy, and all that other shit.
Yeah.
Well, fuck that. I mean, that being said, Sopranos is the greatest work of art on film ever. And also, the irony of it is, my dad, I stayed away from that kind of life for the most part, other than the After Hours Club, which I just ran it for other people. I didn't own it. I'm not no fucking big shot. But, no, but seriously, like, the crazy thing about it, bro, and you can attest to this being in the business. He wanted so bad. I stay out of all that street life, that South Philly shit. I mean, I know all those guys are my friends, but I'm concentrated on the wrestling. And then I get into the wrestling business when I'm just a little older than my son is. My son's 13. I got into business like when I wasn't even in high school yet, bro. Okay? And let me tell you, bro, other than the killing and shit, of course, I both got involved in the streets, so I would have at least like maybe saved a couple $100,000 before I went to jail inevitably. Because wrestling, bro, wrestling in the 90s and shit like that, you think it's bad now when people talk about the, speaking out. Let me tell you, bro. I used to ride the shows to set up rings and get the shit beat out of me by grown men. And I used to stay in hotels with grown women. I'm a little older than my kid who the Easter Bunny just brought him a bike. So, you know what I mean, dude?
Yeah.
That's gives you perspective on things. Not to get all fucking dark, because that's just the way things were. If anything, I'm glad. I'm glad that things happened for me the way they did, because I have a 13-year-old that I have a completely honest relationship with that's still super innocent and chooses to be. He understands that there is no benefit to growing up too fast. There's no benefit to it, And that's what wrestling, like if I am to write a book one day, like I plan to, because I would like to start writing stuff down, wrestling business, it has a really clever way of stealing your innocence, but leaving you a perpetual adolescent. I mean, think about how many people and they tell you their age, and they're in the business, and your mind is blown at how old they are. Consider how young and immature they act.
Yeah. That's what I think about myself too, because I'm like, I'm turning 36 this year.
And, God bless you.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm still relatively like, I look at myself and I'm like, bro, like I think that I'm like, I know I'm so immature. Like, and I have a 10-year-old, and I'm like, yeah, we probably on the same wavelength, kid. Like, there's no. I was like,
wrong with that, though. You just have to be honest with your kid. Like, that's the thing. I'm honest with my kid. I'm like, look, dude, I'm sponsored by a dispensary. I'm sponsored by a rolling paper company, skyhighmunchies.com, majorpapers.com. Coming soon too. We've Ruckus and I have partnered with a company, and snack outs, brownies and cookies are coming out soon. And we're going to also have snack out wellness, which is just going to be CBD. So
nice. That's
snack out wellness is just CBD, and snack outs original are just awesome. And that's what we'll leave it at. But we have a lot coming up. So I'm real honest with my son, but I also let him know too, that if you eat one piece of one pill one time, you'll die if it's fentanyl. And I tell them, I know people that do this all day long that are like me, that were president of their college and had a 148 IQ and went to school and And that's not me bragging. I'm just saying, like, I want, because when people, this is me standing up for people that, you know, use, and I have a medical marijuana card. So this is me standing up, let's say, for medical marijuana. Okay. I tell them that there's people that are super productive, that are athletes, that are in great shape. And there's also people that sit home and do nothing all day long and just smoke weed and make no money and are fucking flat broke. So, you know, it goes both ways. You know, the thing is, if you see it swaying you one direction, you need to stop. Now, that being, he's not touching this shit till he's 18. And if he does, he understands it's going to be a problem that all these arcade machines and all this other stuff we have here down the shore, that would go. And that's, you know, like anything else. It's, you know, not that this is a parenting podcast, but you apply that to everything. It's things have to be earned.
Yeah.
That's a big loss in the wrestling business is, you know, earning opportunities, that's why they talk about a union for wrestlers, right? It would be great, but with the amount of people that call themselves wrestlers, you know, at what point do you shut the floodgates?
Right.
You know what I mean? Before it's not practical.
Well, it's something funny because you're talking about it, and I really want to touch on it too. You're talking about like earning your opportunities and working towards things and stuff like that with like, you know, in regards to your kid, but that also works in like the wrestling business as well. Because that's something I do with my daughter too. Like she likes being in the ring. Like she legitimately wants to get in, do roles, and you know, she wants to learn how to do like certain bumps, but I'm like, you can only do a handstand one because you're not really good at doing handstands. You just kind of flop over anyway. So you might as well just learn how to do this. But it's but she's getting better at handstand. Okay, don't take it wrong. But but with that though, like, you know, her math grades were like slipping really bad, and she was just real more focused on like being artistic and stuff. And I was like, while you can be artistic, you need to be like passing your classes. Otherwise, you can't get in the ring, you can't do anything else, and your artistic drawing, I'm just not gonna let you do anymore until you start, you know, bringing your grades up. And finally, you know, we gotta like, and you know, like throughout the quarter, like she's working harder, and she brought her grade up, and like thank God she did, because she was like, it was bad, but she got it up, she got the passing. And then you know, this quarter, like her teacher just like sends us this email and was just like, hey, just want to let you know your daughter's doing really great, she's very active. I was like, all right, bet. Now, you know, we're like, hey, we can go get you back in here and you can have some fun, you can roll with us, you can do whatever you want to do. But the moment the grades start to come back down, you're back out. Like that's simple.
It's a reward system, and I used to do that with my son when he was younger as well too. It's like, and he knows that too. Like all this stuff, it's not by default because you're my kid and I love you. It's because you work hard, you're a good boy, everything else. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, and that's just the great thing about wrestling. It's the main reason I stay involved with wrestling now. You know, it's because it allows me to be a different type of dad to my son than I would be otherwise. I mean, I've asked him before. I'm like, you don't think I'm a boomer? He's like, oh, Daddy, you're like a rapper. You don't have an age. You know, and it makes me feel good. You know, you know, you sacrifice a lot to be part of the wrestling business, and if nothing else, it's allowed me to be the cool dad. I'm good. I won. Because I see most of these dads are not cool.
Yeah, you know what? I'm starting to realize that, like, just me myself, right? And it's funny you bring that up because, like, I see a lot of people be like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, when I have my job, this is what I do." And then, you know, I'm a wrestler. Like, I go to places to wrestle, and they're like WWE. I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "That's so cool." I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Well, I couldn't do it." I'm like, "Yeah, you can't, because you just said that." And while I'm going to go out there and make fun of people, so you can come and hang out if you want to and watch me make fun of people. But at the end of the day, like, I see those guys with like, they're like the tight dad jeans. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
No, and I'm not. Here's the thing. People are brainwashed. People are brainwashed to believe that, you know, I can't do this because I got work in the morning. And what happens if you go to work tired? What? But what happens if you come out tonight? Why? Number one, it'll make me feel good because I invited you out. I'd like to see you. Number two, maybe you'll have a good time. You know, I have a friend. It's like, dude, maybe you'll meet the girl you're going to get married to one day. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll meet the girl that you just hang out with for a month or a day or not at all, but maybe you'll get out of the house. Dude, I came down here at 420 last year to the shore. Okay? I've been staying at the shore during COVID. I still have a house in Philly. And, any day I've just sat in the shore especially during the pandemic, it never happened. Hey, it's money or sex or food or never. No matter how long I just sat here, nobody ever fucking knocked on the door to give me anything, ever. And that's reality. You have to go out and take opportunity. When I got into this wrestling business, I started by working at the ECW arena, setting up chairs. I met Mike Verdi, who was Trent Acid, who told me he was a wrestler, and I didn't believe him. Later on that night, and actually I was in karate with Mike. Me and Mike took karate together when we were even younger, like 10 and 11. So I really but it's when you're 13, you can go out and hang out with your friends. It's a little different when you're a teenager,
Yeah.
So we really started hanging out. He told me he was a wrestler. I didn't believe him. He brought me to a wrestling school, and I was in a ring. And before that, I had paid like $10 to get a Polaroid taken with Tommy Dreamer and the Pitbulls, just so I could be inside the ring. I mean, the Pitbull, I knew Tommy and the Pitbulls because I worked at the arena. They would never let me in the ring. I was too young. And dude, I hand to God, I was 15 years old and I worked my first show. I was a sophomore in high school, and I worked a show with Dan Severn and Jim Cornette, and it's a infamous show on YouTube. It's the NWA Truck Stop Show. It's called, and it had a 4 quarters of paint main event that's world famous. It was one of the first death matches ever in the United States. And it was Dennis Carluzzo's NWA, which is pretty well known, but he ran in South Philly. And I swear to God, as I'm like going back from selling the first match, Jim Cornette's walking out to the ring with the late great Grandmaster Sexay from Too Cool, who's doing cool. Ron Christopher, and Cornette pulled us aside after the match and tore it to shreds, but gave us some of the best fucking advice. And Balls, I've known Balls since, new Balls, God rest his soul, since I was 10 years old when I first worked those shows. And, I talked to him about that day, about how he, after the show, was like, if Bill watches UWF, if you threw a punch in the first 3 matches, you were fired. And I always brought that up to him because we were 15. It was moonsaults, no selling everything, chair shots in the opener.
Yeah, that's something that I've been learning is it's crazy because I've been getting a lot of advice from people just regarding about the business and where you are placed on the card and what you're how things are structured. So it's been this show's been one of the biggest helps I've ever had just in life, just and I mean that within the business wise, because being a former Air Force, there's always been a lot of people who've helped influence my career there. And then once I got out, that was kind of it. So this show was something I had to come up on my own. The military didn't give me this. So when the show came up and I started asking, people were telling me about hey,
you hear what he's saying? That's for nothing, military.
But it was it's one of those things where the card there, people will tell you hey, if you know where you are on the card, ask for what's expected from here and there. And it's so much great stuff that was being fed to me. And I was all right, bet, man. I truly appreciate the way people were able to just corral me in and teach me about what's going on in and out of the business.
What do you all right, so what's something you've always wanted to know, or what's something that like I said, I try to put up. See, I've been off the grid for too long, man. I've been off of social media. I have some,
No.
people
Sorry.
Some people aren't really rooting for me out there, so I get the fuck for a while.
Yeah, it was funny because I did follow you, and I watched you just go in and out. It was 1 week you're there, 1 week you're gone.
I'm trying to think of a wrestling analogy that will make sense right now. It was if I was The Rock, it was Stone Cold and Triple H were mortal enemies. They united. Let's just say 2 of my ex tag team partners. How about like that? 2 of my intergender tag team partners formed an all-female tag team. Like Hulkamania. That's gonna Doom and everybody else. So
Oh no.
Yeah, so by the way, everybody out there on the internet, I have one fucking social media account, and it's PopKiller215, and that's it. Any other messages or anything else, it's not me. I would never message you. I would never be on a fucking dating site. Who the fuck would want to be on a dating site? Okay? You go on a dating site, you're a contestant on The Bachelorette. If you're a dude, you're a contestant on The fucking Bachelorette. This is the clip you're probably going to want to use for the show.
Yo, I've never, you know what's crazy though, is that like now that you say that and I think about it, I'm like, yo, that really, that's the truth. Like,
I could be like, here's the thing. You could literally be the best guy in the whole wide world. Hey, I'm a millionaire. And when you fuck me, money comes out of my dick. But she'll never see the message. It's just hundreds. I have a lot of female friends, dude. And those inboxes, bro. You could never, I mean, whatever. Good luck. And I guess if you get like I'm sure they have like the Tinder, like Prime or whatever. Maybe like Amazon Prime, and you can just like 4 times as fast or whatever. But you know, like anyway, I would never be on any of that, but it's true. If you're on an online dating site, if you're a dude, you're a contestant on The Bachelorette. In fact, that's something that's good advice I will give you right now. I don't know if it has to do with wrestling or not, but I think all my dating advice can be pertained to wrestling too. Because it's the stuff I've told myself. And one thing you'll learn the longer you take this journey into professional wrestling is that everything has got to be tied into the psychology of professional wrestling. Because the psychology of professional wrestling was developed during a very antiquated time when there wasn't as many distractions as there are. It was a very antiquated time when it was very hard to entertain yourself and entertain people and let alone get them to suspend disbelief. You know, the amount, it's not like, you know, so the amount that had to go in, you got to think about like back in the day when they used to send the results or the booking sheets through like Morse code and shit like that. And that's where like, you know, over and kayfabe and shit like that came from, you know? But anyway, psychology of like anything. So I told my son, you know, you figure, you watch TV, you have one of the most popular shows for women, The Bachelor.
yeah.
And guys like it too. Howard, I'm a big Howard Stern fan. Howard loves The Bachelor. So you figure The Bachelor. What's the premise of The Bachelor? It's just some fucking man whore slaying like 30 bitches in a house. All crying and pulling each other's hair and going crazy and getting thrown out of the house and having panic attacks and developing Xanax addictions and shit like that because of the anxiety that came from being on one date, dude. Right? And women love this guy and they make excuses for him. Oh no, you don't understand, you know? You don't understand Andre. I don't know what the Bachelor's name is, just I like the name Andre. Andre the Giant. You don't understand Andre. He's a complicated man. He's like an enigma wrapped in a riddle, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So right, be The Bachelor, because then you go to The Bachelorette. Look at the contestants on The Bachelorette. Kira, I really feel a connection with you, Kira. I've never felt it before. Some fucking guy, Todd, that played, you know, like one season of college basketball and hurt his ankle, and now he works at his father's fucking convenience store or something. And it's sad. And that's wrestling. That's wrestling. You want to be The Bachelor. You don't want to be a contestant on the fucking Bachelorette. You don't want to be 1 of 30. You want to be 1 of 1. You want to be fucking special. Back to dating, okay? Back to dating. This is another wrestling thing. These young kids asked me for advice in front of my son the other day at the gym I go to. When I say young kids, they're like 20. My son's 13.
Right.
They asked me. I said, well, I told the young kid. I said, when you go out with her, bro, you know you're vibing. And now this is the first time where you know they're 21. So it's like they live down the shore and the parents happen to be somewhere more luxurious than Wildwood somehow. So they finally finally got the house to himself. I'm like, make sure you hold the door, this and that. And I've been telling them stuff like, do you have eggs in your house? I wrote down a recipe. I mean, like, trying to make it so I can make her breakfast and stuff in the morning. I said, but bro, at 3 o'clock in the morning, she needs at some point to have the thought go through her head after a night of holding doors and pulling her chair out for her and walking on the outside of the street, everything. At 3 o'clock in the morning, she needs to be convinced at some point you could split her body in half with your dick. Because if not, making her the fucking nice eggs at 8 o'clock in the morning ain't gonna mean shit. Right. That's wrestling, bro. And that's wrestling, bro. That's you said it, bro. You said that dude's a dick, but there's something about
it. Yep. You're on point with that. And that's something like I'm starting to learn too, is like, especially about like getting into the business and like understanding like, you got to set yourself apart, one, and then you got to bring something else special to the table. Like there's, and I look at all these guys and I see a lot of dudes who are just like, they're like, well, I'm a great wrestler. I'm like, well, what do you do? Well, I can do this. I'm like, but what can you do? Because that's what I really want to know. Maybe you're right though. Like, and you got to separate yourself and you got to make yourself one-on-one. And I think about that with life too. Because I mean, just at the end of the day, she's not choosing you. She's choosing you. She could choose like 300 other dudes, but she's choosing you. Like, so you got to make yourself stand out. And that's
right. And that's what I'm saying. Because this kid really likes this girl. You've earned the audience's money. They paid a ticket to be there. Okay? So you better treat them right. But when it comes time to deliver and maybe slaying with the dick, that's the ring work aspect of what I'm talking about when you pertain it to wrestling. Because I could talk all this shit, be my fucking Pablo Escobar hoodie and my Compton hat and smoking blunts on camera and shit. And you come to the fucking show and I'm taking 10 punches and flare flopping and shit still. And clearly I haven't learned any lessons in my time away from the ring. You won't see me doing any of that shit. Okay? That's the thing. You have to, here's the thing. They say you got to turn yourself up to 10. It's true. You have to be yourself. I'm a really nice guy and that got me shit. I'm smoking on ops right now. Seriously, I'm smoking on a lot of fucking people that doubted me and doubted Ruckus and doubted Larry Legend. And Ruckus is too fat and Robbie's too uncoordinated and Larry's fucking gay. Okay? And they're too black and they're too hip hop. And he's a fucking Jersey Shore Guido. That's me smoking on those people because half these fucking people, bro, and this is me being real, they're fucking retired or they're dead. Yeah. So that's another thing. Like I said, hold the door. Walk on the outside of the street. Pull out the chair. Here's the thing a lot of guys don't know. When a girl goes to the ladies' room, she comes back to the dinner table, stand up. That's what fucking gentlemen do. But when it comes time to break her fucking back, do it. And that's what I need to do. And that's what you need to do if you want to be successful in this Shark Tank. See, I felt good. And then we start talking and I start talking about how I came into this business and the fucking prices that I paid, And I feel it makes me feel good, but it also makes me feel like I don't want to waste the opportunity to give you good advice because nobody gave me this advice. I got, the first person to look out for me really would be like Dennis Carluzzo or Zandig for sure, besides the guys that helped train me. But as far as guys that were in a position to pay me and not take advantage of me, bro, and there's a lot of that in this business.
Yeah, I saw.
And now what I try to do is try to pay it forward. My body of work is available for anybody. The most important thing in this business is loyalty. It's the most important thing in the world, bro. It's more important than love because even if you don't love somebody, if you're loyal to them, even if they don't love you back, if you're loyal to them, you know that it's a drop everything type situation. There's people in my life like Larry, like Ruckus, like Jimmy, like James Ellsworth. You don't see everybody fucking sharing the retraction that came out that Jimmy got his name cleared. No, but they want to put his name through the fucking mud. Jimmy, a dude who got full custody of his fucking kids in Maryland, one of the most brutal states. I know, I'm a single father. Okay? 2 daughters. But people want to drag his name through the mud. They want to drag my name through the mud for being his friend. Smoking on them, bro. I'm smoking on them on my house on the fucking Atlantic Ocean. I got a Compton hat on, ironically, but Sedale gave me that. Big Sedale, so that's why I wore it. Because I love that dude and he looks out for me. And I know he might be one of the people that actually watches this, because he follows ECW stuff. So that's why I wore it. I went up Sedale. And but dude, people talk about wearing Compton hat. People talk about East Coast. Bro, I'm on the fucking East Coast. I mean,
we're journeying right now. As for our audio listeners, we're journeying outside.
There you go, bro. I know what you can see. That's the Atlantic Ocean behind me, though.
Okay.
Up over those houses, out there. I don't know how to flip the camera here, so let me say, bro. And this isn't me like getting full of my own shit. I mean, while getting full of my own shit, look, belts. No, I'm now just being a dick.
Hey, I need to know, man, what's been the worst bump you've taken?
Oh, you know what's funny is there's bumps I forgot I've took that were so bad. It's got to be though when I tore my Achilles. I was wrestling X-Pac up in I mean, talk about embarrassing. I'm wrestling like my hero, one of them, a dude at the time that was like hanging at my house all the time in Philly and shit. And like 3 minutes into the match, he gave me a back body drop, over rotated, broke my ankle, tore my Achilles.
Oh,
pretty embarrassing.
But that's rough though, man.
Pretty demoralizing. Yeah, and then if we're being straight up, a few years ago, I got a pretty bad head injury. I don't talk about it a lot, but the reality is nobody's going to fucking sign me anyway. So it is what it is. I mean, it's led to a lot of problems. It's led to a lot of problems in my life. It led to like the downfall of a pretty good relationship that, it led to me probably trying to get that relationship back for way too long, but that's the thing. People in this, and that's why like Zandig, he supports Donald Trump. So what? People go online, they write, see what CTE does? So that's what you do. You can't just say, see his shitty political opinions. You have to make fun of the guy's brain injuries. He got to entertain fans. He's not a fucking millionaire. I mean, he's got some dough, Andy. Don't get me wrong. He's not broke.
Right.
John's took very good care of his family and owns businesses and property. John's a smart guy. Like I said, John really looked out for me and taught me a lot. But still, obviously he had multiple concussions. We've seen him. And that's what we do. I know just from my one. Somebody asked me today, actually, because be honest, at work, the place where I work out, ceiling fans with the fluorescent light above it. I mean, I'm the mayor of Migraine City, I mean, I literally got, and it sucks, it's getting hot in there. I got to shut the ceiling fans off sometimes, And somebody asked me about, are you mad at the guy? I said, of course not. Of course not, because we sign up for it. I mean, and again, that's the irony. What's the life I would have got into had I not got into this? This shit?
Yeah.
I got family and nephews in Philly, Baltimore, wherever, in the game, in the rap game, in the wrestling game, it's all the same. It's all the same. I knew a kid who was a ballet dancer. Same shit. I mean, maybe not the violence aspect of it, but the treachery. And that's the thing that people don't prepare you for with the wrestling. That's why I say the loyalty is so important. Because I've had great, wonderful, long-lasting friendships with people like Ruckus and people like Larry and people like Nick Burke. And I don't want to forget people, but I'm just Z-Bar, who just passed. My best friend Linda, who wasn't in the business, but she just passed. A week and a half after Z-Bar. I mean, the friendships and the loyalty you have, it will get you through the Shark Tank that's a wrestling business. Nick, second. Let me tell you something. He's one of my favorite opponents, and he's really one of my favorite people because me and him have been through some real shit. And I love and I care about that dude. And he knows if somebody fucks with him, I remember it and I hold on to it. I'll leave that at that, you know? Like that's the greatest thing that we get in this business is you bring up our ages and stuff. You know, those guys with the tight jeans, you know, that didn't pursue their dreams, unfortunately, you know what they don't have? They don't have a group of friends that they get to see every weekend. We have that. We have that. You know, think about all your non-wrestling friends. Oh, I haven't seen so-and-so since they're like, oh, fuck, that was 2015. I haven't seen that motherfucker in 6 years.
Right.
Right? See how the tone changed from me smoking on all my dead ops and everything else.
All right.
It's the roller coaster that is the wrestling business, that is life, bro, you know? I told you this would be one of the more unique interviews you did. I hope it was, at least, you know?
Oh, it's definitely that way. And I knew what I was signing up for. Trust me. Like when I was like, oh yeah, we definitely going to do this. I knew what I was getting into. That's why I was like, I think this was like probably one of my most anticipated interviews like coming up. I was like, I'm definitely hyped for this, especially because
I appreciate that.
Yeah. And one thing too, like you said, like you'd been gone since like November, like you were just like off, like no one was getting a hold of you. And then like even like I was saying, right, like just looking through your social media, you're like 1 week you were there, 1 week you were gone, 1 week you're back, then like 2 weeks you're gone. I'm like, all right, man, when I catch up with him, I'll catch up with him.
It's scary, you know, bro. It's scary because unfortunately, like I'm in a situation where I have people that still, you know, like I'm a sensitive dude. Like I don't mind saying that. See, I wear it all. Look, I can fight. I don't mind being a sensitive guy because I can fight. I will put that out there to anybody who wants to make fun of me for being sad or crying or whatever like that. Because I'll be honest. I mean, I'm doing this podcast, so maybe these ex-friends of mine will post, you know, video messages after my head injury when I was just crying my eyes out like a big fucking baby, like a big pussy crying about how depressed I was. Because that's what's out there, bro. That's what's out there. And every time I meet a girl or try to move on in my life or something, or my son, I got to get, oh, here's a message of your dad crying. Here's a message. Oh, here's when me and your dad were messaging and he was away. And I was sending him pictures of me butt ass naked. Here's a message of him in his underwear and shit like that. And shit like that's on the internet. Bro, I don't mind saying it though, because I don't care. Like, what the fuck, you know? But that's what I'm saying. And so that's it. Yeah, I'm putting it out there. When I disappear off social media, not fucked up on drugs or nothing like that, or hiding from nobody or owe nobody money, my fucking name in the street is fucking immaculate. My name in the wrestling business is immaculate. I haven't done shit to nobody. I've never fucked anybody up. However, unfortunately, I got a 13-year-old son, and I got people that, I mean, look, they won already, because the reality is I am not ashamed to say that I chased somebody for years and tried to fix things for years. I fucking turned down pussy left and right for years just to get blackmailed. So I'm only putting that out there, and I'm not a sob story, because I was a dick, because I thought I was fucking Tony Soprano having 2-3 girlfriends at one time. Okay? No, I put it out there, bro. I put it out there because I don't have shit to hide. I don't have to hide from anybody. I wear this shit because it looks cool. If I take this off, the pregnancy rate goes way up anyway. I have to, just for safety, just for population. The baby makers come out, forget about it. Girls are just fucking their dudes just on general principle, just for I showed them, you know? But no, really, I only put it out there because I want people to know what's really going on with me. I want people to know that I just drop off the face of the earth, because I don't want y'all that add me on Instagram to get messages and think it's me from an account that's not. That's why when you go to OpKiller215, it says my new only account.
I did see that. I did notice that when you put
Yeah, so that's why I put that there. So yeah, you know, clearly, like what I was saying about making the eggs and breaking your dick off at them in the middle of the night, that shit works. You just got to do it with one person. That's it. You just don't do it. Because what happens is they get to know each other, and before you know it, there's an alliance to end Hulkamania.
All right. Well, listen, Robbie. These are like those like pretty much like all like the bigger kind of end questions I was asking, and we've gotten like so many cool stories out of like this whole conversation. But we do have to play the 3 Count Podcast 10 count questions, and this is how it works. I'm gonna fire off 10 questions at you, rapid
Okay.
fast, and then it's whatever first thought to your mind. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So we're gonna get this started.
I have 1 second. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm taking it seriously.
Yeah,
All right,
it's the toughest thing. All right, and here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
Raw.
Favorite pair of sunglasses?
The Ray-Bans that got stolen in Milan.
Oh, I'd be so pissed. Sonic or Mario?
It's a me, Mario.
Favorite movie?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, I love that movie. Are you a DC or a Marvel guy?
Bro, I got a Marvel cabinet in my house, a Marvel arcade cabinet, bro.
Favorite color?
Marvel versus Capcom 2 all the way.
Oh yeah. Favorite color?
It's been on black.
Hey, there we go. It's a Friday night. What you doing?
Ideally, bro. Ideally.
Yeah.
Having, somebody at 3:00 in the morning be like, wow, this motherfucker might kill him with my dick. And then, that story I told, and then making the eggs, like, yeah, so doing that, like, the 2 a.m. story, and then like making the Gordon Ramsay eggs at like 10 a.m. and going to the beach. But like the bar or something, like a nightclub or something. Or if I could, perfect Friday night would be, I'm wrestling, I'm on early, I'm paid early, I'm out early, so I got all that adrenaline from wrestling. I'm picking the chick up, we go out, and then and it doesn't, not random chick. I'm just saying, I'm saving myself. You know what I'm saying, though. But that's I'm fucking 40. That's my Friday night. I'm not going. That's my Friday night. I'm trying to work a show. I live walking distance from the bars, so I literally live on the ocean. It's Friday night.
I feel you.
That's why I said Raw. That's why I said Raw when you said Raw or SmackDown, because I'm going out on Friday.
I got you. All right, man. I need to know, what's your favorite podcast?
Well, besides the 3 Count Podcast.
I mean, it should be like, that's like the only one, right? Though.
besides the 3 Count Podcast, right now, Talking Sopranos.
That's a good one, though.
Michael Imperioli and Steven Shrippa. You know what? Michael Imperioli played my uncle, Angelo Dundee, in One Night in Miami, the movie about Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Michael Imperioli, Christopher played my uncle, and I wrote to him on Instagram to tell him how happy my nan and pop, my grandparents, were about that. And he wrote back to me, and like little shit like that. He's a big deal. He's on the best show of all time. But the fact he took 5 seconds to write back to me, you know what I mean? I don't have a blue check or nothing. You see, I got like 5 followers on this new account. I just said to him, hey, my nan and pop, they're older now, but they're like 90, but Goodfellas was their favorite movie and The Sopranos was their favorite show. And they saw you were playing my Uncle Ange. They were so happy. It really means a lot. And he wrote back, oh, tell them I hope that they're well and this and that. Little shit like that. So yeah, but yeah, I hope that answers that question. Sorry to go on the tangent like that. But.
No, it's fine, man. All right, so I need you to nominate one person that you want to see on this show.
Ruckus.
Yeah, Ruckus.
More realistically, because Ruckus does even less of these things than I do. If not Ruckus, Larry Legend.
Okay. Well, fun fact, I've had Jimmy, I've had Larry, and now you, and I guess there's only one person left to get on the crew.
Yeah, there's only one more. The motherfucking look, I got the broken pinky. That chick did that. The chick did that. I lied and said it happened in the ring. I reused that spot over and over again. I punched people in the head. I'm like, I broke my pinky. So take that. I turned a negative into a positive.
And then last but not least, my last question for the 10 count questions is favorite curse word.
motherfucker.
Yes, sir.
No, one time I said something really funny. And I looked at my son, I'm like, I am a funny motherfucker. And he went, literally. And I'm like, that kid is a funny motherfucker.
He just scored it. He was just like,
That's
yep.
the different level of witty right there.
That's good though, man. That's good that he's like quick-witted, because that's, girls find that attractive too when you're able to fire back.
He's got long hair and he's tall and athletic. He's going to be a way bigger deal. I think, you know what? Sometimes I think my whole journey into professional wrestling, including the way that I didn't get to be an innocent kid like he did, like he is. I think it may be to just be a vessel for him and to be able to be a facilitator of his dream. And even though I didn't have a guide to guide me through, maybe I didn't have the talent to make it even if I had that guide. So if he has that talent, at least he's got a guide.
Right.
Even if I don't have that talent to get me to where I thought I would be, Although if I had my hair right now, I would totally be cool with being a full-time announcer. I wish when I had hair, I had a lot of opportunities where I probably would have been, I turned down shit pretty frequently because I was and I'm okay with that though, because I don't think my son would be like, Dad, I want to go to the gym with you so I can hold that microphone. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh man, it is. Yeah, you're right though, man. It really, like, I think about that with my daughter too. Like, eventually I know she's gonna be like, can I go with you to the gym and like start like working out and stuff like that? And because I already see in her eye whenever I'm training, I see in her eye. I'm just like, I feel like I know where she's gonna want to go. Even though, and I'll put this out there, her mom has the coolest job in the entire world, and I stand by that because she's a dolphin trainer. I was like, and then her dad is a pro wrestler. It's like she's got like these two worlds that'll mess you up. Oh yeah, I like that.
I mean, we have like a bunch of stuffed off. Mr. Frosty, that's my son. My son, Mr. Frosty's my son's stuffed dolphin. He brought Mr. Frosty to the like the Paul McCartney concert. He brings him to shows. Like, we're big dude. It's one thing, dude. They really clean up the ocean. I remember when I was a kid, it would be like a big deal if you saw dolphins out there once a summer. Now, people are out there in jet skis. They're coming out alongside it. They're like basically domesticated down there.
That's crazy.
Well, I'm sure your wife will tell you how crazy, like, intelligent they are.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're smart. They're like, oh, there's people fishing. There's tourists, a bunch of shoobies down here, food, and they just,
Yep, it's crazy, and people don't act like they're not. They're still like a wild animal, and people are just like, oh yeah, they're out here to save me. I'm like, they're gonna. Mess
I know where you're going with this, and here's the thing. Even though being a dolphin trainer is amazing, who's the star of the show? The dolphin.
Mm-hmm.
We're the dolphins.
Well, depending
in wrestling, we're the dolphins.
Yeah.
We're the ones that are, instead of a tank of water, we're in a ring.
Right.
But essentially, we're doing I don't want to say a choreographed performance, but we're essentially on stage there where we communicate with our own language the same way dolphins do. And we speak Carney, we use weird terms that people don't know. Shit can, take a powder, kayfabe,
Yeah.
So, very similar. There's a lot of things like that, man. There's no such thing as disconnection. There really is. No such thing as disconnection. If you really think about it, there's some sort of interconnectivity to everything. There's some kind of common thread.
Right.
Even if you look, and not to get too serious before we take it home, but even if you look at just every creature, why do we all have eyes, ears, noses? Like, think about it. Pretty much everything has eyes, ears, and a nose.
Yep.
Variety. So, so whatever it is, there's some sort of interconnectivity. So no matter what, we have that in common. And if nothing else, as people,
if nothing else, even if me and you hate each other's guts, if we're somewhere together, we're at least in the same time in the same place. You know, it's a good way to look at things too. It's a lot different from the guy that was smoking on his ops a few minutes. See?
Listen, I love all faces of Robbie Illuminati. Let's not get this twisted.
And hopefully we shed some light on my disappearances, my reappearances. I mean, I'm back to stay. I may start wrestling with a mask. I'm wrestling this Saturday in West Virginia. Yeah. Are you going to be on that show? I saw your face. Don't worry. We're not wrestling each other. You're safe.
No. You're going to be at SCWA, though?
I guess so, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was like,
if I should know show, blink twice if I should know show. Okay, you didn't blink. All right, cool.
I was like, no, because we're definitely going to have a lot of fun talking.
Dude, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to ride down here. I mean, it's like a 6-7 hour ride, but get into some adventures. You know, that's what wrestling's all about. Just going to get into fucking adventures down in West Virginia.
Yeah, I'm hyped about this now. You kids.
I'm hyped about it too. I'm planning to be full time there. I just want to wrestle, man. I miss it. I miss being in a ring. I miss fucking with people. I miss everything that being a performer provides for me. Because ultimately, you know, it's not about the money. I mean, I'm not working for free, SCWA, so you better call fuck that go. But you know, it's just about being able to have an outlet, to be creative, and an outlet to be yourself, but not be yourself.
Right.
You know, be yourself with absolutely no constraints whatsoever. You know, and if it weren't like that, I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to go somewhere where somebody handed me a script. I don't care. You know, so for me, it's about, you know, at this point, I want to have fun. I want to enjoy myself. Ultimately, the times that I've enjoyed myself and had fun are the times that I've also made the most money somehow. So, you know, another thing I can tell you in wrestling is don't be afraid to stand up for yourself, and don't be afraid to let go sometimes. You know, that's, you know, ultimately, and it doesn't mean just like let go of opportunity. I mean, let go of like fear or anything like that. Those constraints,
Right.
You know, you let go of, oh, I don't want to catch heat. I don't want to do whatever the fuck you want. If I want to light up a blunt in the middle of the ring in West Virginia, I will. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm going to pay $1,000 fine and I'm going to be on every news channel.
But you're making noise.
Right?
That was something I learned, that, you know, whether people like you or they hate you, like, business is good. It's when you don't get that reaction is when you're like, oh, okay, I got to cause a reaction. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
People talk about, oh, Joe Biden got the most votes of all time. Well, he's working with a great heel. He's working with the best heel of all time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The most hated heel of all time. You know, he's like, of course he got the most votes. Even people hate Biden. They like him more than Trump.
Yeah.
You know,
it's true.
And I met that motherfucker. And he was cool. People asked me, I was 8 years old. People are like, was he a dick? Like, motherfucker, I was a little boy at WrestleMania that my famous uncle got me tickets to, and it was at his place. Yeah, he was a dick. He was in a horrible mood. Nah, he was fucking happy.
He's the worst guy of all time.
I'll tell you who was a dick. Bobby the Brain Heenan for pulling the Ultimate Warrior's leg and making Rav Shipper pin him at my first show. Dude, I mean, I even though I liked Rick Rude, I was pissed. I didn't go for that cheating back then. Who would have known? Who would have known? Cheating would have been my downfall. Nice callback right there. Oh, Rick Scott.
All right. Sorry, we gotta take it home though. So you guys,
podcast ever?
Was that
Longest podcast ever?
No.
Okay.
We'll talk about that off air.
I don't want to be one of them. I hope your long one was like a serious one with people talking about. I mean, it's got pretty serious. The fucking sexual abuse coming in the wrestling business, the mafia shit, the fucking smoking on dead people. I'd say got a little dark.
Yeah, it did.
Bro. Give him a little bit of everything.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it off air, which was our longest one, and then you'll understand why. But
Bro, give him a little bit of everything. Remember that, bro. Guys, everything. Gourmet chef, fucking poet, porn star. You got to be all those things. If not, you're going to be alone forever. Take it from Robbie. Take it from Uncle Pablo, baby. All right?
all right, well that's what we have. That's our time, guys. You guys know what to do. This is the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering the Ring, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller. But like I said, it's never about me. It's about our guests. And so with Now Entering the Ring, this is Robbie Illuminati, and you guys know what to do. Tune into the next episode and be there, or you just wait, and then the end of this episode, and another one's going to start up because this is how it works. All right? So, peace. What's going on, 3 Count Nation? I'm Clifford Red Dog Miller with the catchphrase. But what I really want to do right now, go to twitter.com, right? Go over there, find us at the 3count_pod, give us a follow, give us a like, give us a comment. We want to talk to you guys. Go to IG at the 3 Count Pod. Give us a like, give us a follow, leave us a comment. We want to interact with you. Go to youtube.com, give us a subscribe, turn the bell on, turn the notifications, leave a comment. We want to talk to you. Go to anchor.fm/the 3 Count Podcast, and in there, you can leave us a message, and we will talk to you. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that we want to talk to you. We want to have fun with you guys, and we love listening to what you guys have to say. Also, one thing I need you to do for me, the 3 Count Podcast also has merchandise. At prowrestlingtees.com/the 3 Count Pod. Please go buy our t-shirts. We love you guys, and we hope you love us too. So, show us some support, please.